Welcome to our explainer. Today we are diving into a really profound shift in how we parent our teenagers. And this is all based on a session by Sobia and Noreen. It's really about moving from that constant cycle of conflict to a real connection. And you know what? It all starts with learning to see the situation and our teens a lot more clearly. Okay, before we jump in, there's a really crucial disclaimer from Sobia and Noreen we need to cover. This guidance isn't some one-size-fits-all magic trick. It's very specifically for parents whose teens have those really deep-rooted habits of carelessness. It's so important to remember that every family, every relationship has its own unique history and context.
Does this feeling hit close to home? That sense that, oh my gosh, we're having the same fight over and over again. The details might change a little, right? One day it's about their grades, the next day it's about the messy room. But that core conflict, that feeling of frustration, it stays exactly the same.
Yeah, it can honestly feel like you're on a hamster wheel that you just can't get off of. But here's a thought. What if the reason we're stuck has less to do with our teens' behavior and everything to do with how our own minds are wired to see the world? Okay, let's really get into this.
You know how it goes. The cycle almost always kicks off in the exact same way. We see something we don't like. Maybe we walk past our teenager's room and there it is. Clothes on the floor, leftover plates, just a total mess. And bam, our reaction is instant.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Our brain sees that scene and it immediately slaps a label on it. Carelessness, lopperwalkie, disrespect. But here's the thing. That label is based on an incredibly incomplete picture. We are missing so much crucial context. Like, what were their priorities in that moment? What was their emotional state? Heck, even where are they in their cognitive development? This mental shortcut actually has a name. It's called abstraction. See, our brains are literally designed to filter reality, not to see all of it at once. It just grabs a tiny piece of data and pretty much dismisses everything else as unimportant, just so it can make a super quick decision.
So, how much are we actually missing? Well, get this. In any given situation, it could be as much as 90% of the available information. We are building our entire emotional reaction on just 10% of the story. Just let that sink in for a second.
So if we're only seeing this tiny fraction of what's happening, why is our emotional reaction so powerful, so certain? Well, it all comes down to another powerful habit our brain has. Let's dig into how this process actually works. At our core, we are meaning-making machines. Our brain's number one job isn't just to observe facts. It's to be a connection machine. It takes two totally separate things and, in a split second, links them together to create a story, a meaning. And this just shows it perfectly. Think about it. You see a board and a piece of chalk, and your brain instantly goes, study. You see a knife and an apple, it screams, cut. It's automatic. It's based on years and years of conditioned patterns. So, what happens when it sees a messy room plus a teenager? It fires off that old, familiar connection, carelessness. And here is the crucial point. That automatic story our brain cooks up, it's not the only story. It's just our story. Our teen has their own logic, their own set of connections, their own meaning-making process that we are completely blind to because we're trapped in our own automatic, knee-jerk reaction. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole journey. The real work isn't about trying to manage our teens' behavior. Nope. The truly life-changing work is about changing our own internal process first. The path to becoming a conscious parent, or a mutaki parent, it starts right here. The goal is not to get a clean room. It's not to get a better grade. The first most critical goal is to complete our own picture of reality, to actually seek the truth of a situation before we ever pass judgment. And this means we have to adopt a totally new mindset. It's a huge shift from being a manager of results to being a guardian of the process. It's about accepting that our job is to base our actions on truth, not on our assumptions. And listen, this isn't easy. This is difficult inner work that takes immense willpower and faith, or iman. Okay, so this all sounds good, but how do we practically start gathering those missing 90% of the puzzle pieces? Well, it all starts by completely unlearning the way we ask questions. So here are 4 essential steps. First, wait for a moment of connection when your child actually comes to you. Don't try to force the conversation.
Second, talk about the action, the dishes on the table, not their character. Third, check your intention, your niyat. It has to be pure curiosity, not some hidden agenda to correct them. And fourth, and this is the big one, only ask a question if you genuinely have no idea what the answer is. And this slide just shows the difference so perfectly. Notice the first question. Tumne ye kyun kiya? It's a direct accusation. All the focus is on you. But now look at the second option. Us waqt kya wajah hui hogi? See how much softer that is? It's impersonal, and it's full of possibility, or ihtimalat. It literally opens a door for conversation instead of just building a wall of defense.
So just try to remember these simple but incredibly powerful rules. Take the word you or them completely out of the question. Frame it in a way that shows you know you don't have the whole story. And trust me, when your intention, your niyat, is pure curiosity, your words will naturally soften. The goal isn't to get a confession, it's to create a safe space for the truth to come out.
So why is all this deep internal work so incredibly important? Because honestly, the stakes are so much higher than just winning an argument over a messy room.
You see, when a teenager feels constantly judged, constantly managed, and misunderstood, they go into a defensive mode. And sometimes, just to create a separate identity away from you, they might even abandon interests and passions they genuinely love. This conscious approach protects that fragile, absolutely crucial process of them discovering who they are really meant to be.
And that really leaves us with a final, powerful thought to just sit with. What if the transformation we've been searching for in our relationship with our kids all along, what if it begins not with our words of instruction, but with our questions of genuine curiosity? This entire explainer is based on a session by Sobia and Noreen, which goes much, much deeper into all these amazing concepts of conscious parenting. And please, just take a moment to note this important point. While all of this content is based on Sobia and Noreen's session, some of the ideas and the phrasing might differ a bit from the original material, since this explainer was produced with some AI assistance.
If you want to explore these ideas more, or maybe you're interested in counseling or study sessions, here is all the contact information. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer.